Rage, anger, martial prowess. All things I do not possess. Yet here I am, tapping into all things Khorne in order to take a critical look at the demons which serve him. I have already looked over the demons of Slaanesh and Tzeentch, now I move on to the Blood God. First things first, let's go over what Khorne represents in the world of Warhammer Fantasy. Compared to the rest of the Dark Gods, Khorne is relatively simple in what he likes. He likes blood, he likes skulls. He likes killing people in order to get blood and skulls. He is the god of murder, rage, hatred, and wrath. But on top of that, he represents strength, honor, and courage in battle. Now we can put an asterisk next to honor, because through reading about Khorne, you'll soon realize that he only sanctions a certain kind of honor. We're not talking about the Bretonnian sense of the term, with honorable knights protecting peasants. We are talking about honorable deaths. Khorne believes all people should have the right to die with a sword in their hands, fighting for their survival. It's not even a question of martial honor. Of course, there's the story of how Skarbrand tried to attack Khorne while his back was turned, and Khorne was so furious that he sent Skarbrand hurtling across the realms of chaos. You may point to this story and see it as evidence that Khorne does care about martial honor, but in reality, Khorne was probably more angry at the fact that Skarbrand only managed to chip his armor. Plus, would you expect anything less from the god of rage? Khorne delights in savagery just as much as he values honor. If an honorable warrior of Khorne was cut down by a worshipper who used cheap tricks to gain an advantage, would he really care? I think he wouldn't, because he cares only that blood is flowing. It's also been stated that mass murderers and serial killers are among the worshippers of Khorne. And are they really an honorable lot? The big caveat is that Khorne is anti-sorcery, but this whole thing leads into something that is apparent in all Chaos Gods. They are full of contradictions. Getting back into the topic of demons, Khorne has a selection of demonic units on par with Slaanesh, which isn't a good thing. He may hate magic users, but Tzeentch certainly outdoes his brother in this regard. Starting with Khorne's demonic beasts, he has the Juggernaut and the Fleshhounds. Juggernauts are used as steeds and are a demonic fusion of dogs and bulls all wrapped up in metal and armor. There really isn't much more to say about them design-wise, but they are an example of the tropes we'll see in Khorne's demons. They are closely related to the common tropes we see in modern Christian depictions of demons. This is something we'll continue to see later on in other demons, but the dog-like features and hoofed feet of the Juggernaut both fit into this trope. Fleshhounds of Khorne are the other demonic beasts of the Blood God. These massive canines are just as angry as you would expect a demon of the God of Rage. Fleshhounds are a perfect fit for Khorne. In the world of Warhammer Fantasy, many Chaos tribes refer to Khorne as the Hound or the Wolf Father. So there is a solid connection between Fleshhounds and the world that they exist in, which is a common criticism I had of other demons. They are on brand for Khorne both in our world and in the Warhammer world. Now really, they are kind of just monster dogs, but sometimes simple just works. They are also Khorne's favorite demons, and he gifts them with brass collars which helps protect his good boys from magic. Bloodletters are the lesser demons of Khorne. Here we can see many similarities with modern Christian demons. Red skin, horns, and hoofs for feet. Bloodletters really are just devils. They are the main fighting force for Khorne, and fighters they are. They possess unnatural strength far beyond what their wiry frames would imply. They possess all the martial prowess Khorne demands of his demons, as well as magical swords known as Hellblades. These Hellblades may even be a part of the demons themselves, a part of their soul which is unable to be separated from them. Most importantly, these demons possess the want for blood and skulls that their patron shares. They toil on battlefields to harvest skulls for their skull throne and blood for the Blood God. Bloodthirsters are probably the most iconic demon in Warhammer Fantasy. They are absolute powerhouses in terms of causing destruction and death. Appearance-wise, they have red skin, horns, and goat hooves for feet. So they are basically muscular bloodletters, except they trade in the elongated heads for leathery wings. This is a similar complaint I had about the Keeper of Secrets from Slaanesh, where if you shrunk one down to the size of a demonette, there really isn't much difference between the two. Compare that to the Lord of Change, which looks entirely different than all other Tzeentchian demons. Aside from that, they are also often compared to the Balrog from Lord of the Rings. Bloodthirsters also exemplify another contradiction in how demons work. Greater demons are supposed to lead armies, while the armies themselves are made up of lesser demons. Sure, that all makes sense. However, bloodthirsters are utterly consumed by rage and anger. They are often referred to as single-minded, caring only about spilling blood and waging war. Now to me, this is perfectly fine. There is no reason why bloodletters wouldn't just simply follow a bloodthirster into battle. In fact, I'd say of course they would. But for some reason, Games Workshop needed to fix an issue that never existed in the first place. So somehow, Bloodthirsters are both fixated only on slaughter and killing, and are also masters of battle tactics, who are able to fly across the battlefield to reinforce a regiment of Bloodletters or flank behind the enemy. To me, this is a problem. You can't be a mindless killing machine and cunning at the same time. Perhaps that is an issue we can fix ourselves. So let's get into the last section of the video, where I propose 3 new demons to join the ranks of each Chaos God. Now my demons aim to resolve mainly 3 common issues across all demonic rosters. Firstly, I just want to add variety. When I play as demons, I want armies of demons, not mortals, but it gets boring looking upon regiment after regiment of the same unit. Secondly, I want to tie the demons closer to the world of Warhammer Fantasy. I want my demons to have a reason for existing. Bloodthirsters, for example, are not particularly connected to the world of Warhammer Fantasy because they are both in fantasy and 40k. They just exist because they do. Lastly, I want to try to resolve some of the contradictions present in Khorne's current roster of demons, while expanding the ways in which his demons represent him. With that being said, the demons also have to be different from what currently exists. I want to give you a reason to include my demons in your armies. So let's start off with the Lesser Demon. Bloodletters are skilled warriors, fearsome in battle. Their reputation leads scholars of demons to believe that their souls were once the Chaos Warriors who served Khorne in mortal life. To me, I'd say these scholars are correct, but the souls of the serial killers and murderers who worship Khorne within the walls of civilization are also Khorne's to use. The particularly skilled killers who amassed a great amount of skulls before being caught may become a demon known as a Ravager. Ravagers are less skillful than their Bloodletter counterparts, which is seen in their weapon. Whereas Bloodletters wield agile swords, perfect for severing a neck and collecting skulls, Ravagers hurl around a heavy ball connected to a chain. The implement that kept them locked away in life now serves them as a weapon. They stand a little taller than a Bloodletter and are a bit healthier, but there are fewer in a unit and their killing power is far lower than that of a Bloodletter. Now Khorne demons are known for infighting, as they each seek to prove their worth to the Blood God by slaying powerful enemies. To represent this in Khorne's armies, I think it would be a cool idea to give a slight buff to the Bloodletters and Ravagers when they fight in close proximity to each other, like Grand Cathay's Yin and Yang feature. That's about it for the Ravager. Now let's move on to my Greater Demon. For my Greater Demon, I wanted to create more of a separation between the primal rage side of Khorne and the military tactician side. The Bloodthirster represents the pure strength, killing power, and, pun intended, the bloodthirsty nature of Khorne quite well, so I wanted something to represent the side of the precise and cunning general. To do this, I took an old character from the obscure side of Warhammer Fantasy and revamped it a bit. The Mardag was a Greater Demon of Khorne, which was mentioned once or twice in a few old stories. Essentially, it was the Grim Reaper. I wanted to use this guy as a bit of inspiration, and I came up with my own version of a Mardag, one which represents the conquerors of Khorne's armies, those who lead campaigns of conquest and not just bloody raids. Mardags have the lower half of a white horse, but with dragon-like claws for their front hooves. Their upper body is humanoid, with red skin and a blazing emblem of Khorne on their chest. Horns jut from their chests and shoulders, and stone-hard pieces of skin form like armor across their bodies. Their heads take the form of a skull, half human and half dog-like. Upon their skull, bony ridges form a makeshift crown. I did want to keep the scythe, which the Mardag used as a weapon, from my version, but I thought the spear fit better to represent the precision which the Mardag is supposed to embody. They strike with pinpoint accuracy at the weaknesses in the opposing army's flanks in brutal charges, and in duels they don't just cut enemies down, they pierce their hearts with efficiency. There is something to be said about spears not being very Khorne-like, but I once again cite the fact that Khorne only cares that blood is flowing. There's a lot less Grim Reaper in this design, as I traded in that reference for a more Horseman of the Apocalypse vibe. Finally, there is the demonic beast to talk about, which I was able to tie to the world of Warhammer Fantasy by bringing in my favorite of the vampiric bloodlines. The Strigoi are a bloodline of vampires that has seen better days. Once the rulers of an ancient city, they now are forced into hiding, scavenging for food wherever they can. Most vampires would never join the forces of chaos, even the Strigoi, for they still remember their royal background. More so, Khorne would never dream of having cowardly vampires who hide in shadow in his demonic armies, but every now and again a Strigoi becomes so desperate for blood that they can live in hiding no more. At this point, their mind focuses only on blood, which attracts the attention of Khorne. And should their blood-fueled rampage be impressive enough, Khorne will take their souls and add them to his demonic forces. The blood beast of Khorne is what results of these Strigoi. They become much more bat-like, growing leathery wings and elongated mutated noses. They go functionally blind, relying on the scent of blood to locate their enemies. They also grow a lot of features similar to other Khorne demons, like the elongated heads of bloodletters and the bull-like legs of bloodthirsters. 8 spikes protrude from their backs, and they develop a long tongue barbed with teeth culminating in a leech-like mouth. I imagine these guys serving as a decent flying unit for Khorne's army. Bloodthirsters, of course, can also fly, but they take a while to get, and you don't necessarily want your strongest unit wasting time tying up archers or other flying chaff units. Bloodbeasts, on the other hand, would be more accessible and still deadly enough to take advantage of their ability to fly. So there we go, 3 more demons added to the roster of Chaos. There is only one Chaos God left to examine, the grandfather of plagues himself, Nurgle. I'll get to him soon, but in the meantime, tell me what you guys think of my demons in the comment section below, and let me know about your guys' ideas for Khornate demons as well. I'll be back soon with another D&D subclass video, so watch out for that if you're interested. Thank you all for watching, and have a great day.